Guys, how y'all doing? Well, I'm up early in the morning feeling compelled to do this video. I'm showing you guys this amethyst for a reason. And I did a reading, and when I do intense readings like that, that's like kind of emotional and stuff like that, I try to incorporate something positive so you can have hope. You know what I'm saying? So you don't feel even more worse and think that, things is not going to get better, because things is going to get better over time. This right here is amethyst. Let me just tell you and speak my truth. Amethyst has helped me in so many ways, and I actually sleep with this under my pillow every night. It helps with healing my heart chakra, which I've healed my heart chakra, but it helps to open it up, remove all that resentment, anger, and rage from when when I heal myself from my childhood trauma, going through that abuse, being the scapegoat. So I know what it feels like to be the scapegoat. And I feel like that's why Spirit is working through me and wanting me to speak my truth so I can bring awareness to this shit. Because my mom is a narcissist and she won't accept it. And she pitted us against each other. But I was the scapegoat, so they didn't go through what I went through. So, and I was actually the first one to seek treatment too. Everything they said about the scapegoat is correct. The scapegoat is normally the person that the family throw all the blame on. They tell you that you're bad, you might be rebellious, you might have problems at school, you might run away from home. Listen, I used to run away from home. My story is intense. When I was 9 years old, my sister shot herself in her chest. She tried to commit suicide, but she survived. And I'm thankful for that, And, we were told to never talk about that. That was something we never could bring up. So we never seek counseling, because my mom would always deny mental illness. She was like, yeah, don't believe them doctors. Even when I got diagnosed with anxiety, it was like, don't believe those doctors. They, them doctors that had you fucked up, but cause it is what it is. But psychologically, that shit did affect me back then. I didn't know how to control myself. I became impulsive, and I became angry because they all were, if anything happened, I see through the bullshit. It's me. And I knew I just wasn't the problem. But something inside of me was telling me I can't be the problem. And I just felt, something wasn't right. And I was always the one to speak out, always the one to challenge, challenge her, because when you feel hated by your own parent, when you feel hated by one parent and neglected by the other one, I mean, damn, it's a no-win situation, As a child, you're supposed to nourish your kid. My children would never go through what I went through. My kids would never go through what I went through. I make sure I tell my kids I love you. I show them affection, and I make sure I don't overly parent them too, because I can't prevent a lot of things from happening. And one way kids learn things is through experience, of people. So I'm very balanced in that area. But like I said, they won't never know what it feels like to never receive a hug, never receive a kiss. You know what I'm saying? Never hear those words, I love you. It's never I love you. It's always love you in the text, love you. I don't like when people say just love you instead of I love you or something. But anyways, that's beside the point, So I took it upon myself to make sure my mental was always, stable. Because when you don't have family support, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what's best for you. And also, like dealing with my narcissistic mother, and she was so worried about image because, she was Jehovah's Witness, and it was like she forced that religion on us. And none of my sisters are even Jehovah's Witnesses. We grew up in it. since birth, but none of us are, do it. And she gets so mad, because we're not that, and I never had the power to step to her and say, I don't believe in their religion, but I did so, I did so. I recently did so, and I just told her, look, I respect if that's your religion and stuff like that, but that's just not the religion for me. And she's so stuck on that's the right religion, and this is and it's just hard. So I basically moved about 6 hours away from where they live. Like, I don't associate with them. I don't talk to them on the regular, and it hurts sometimes, but I still get through because spirit guides me. I mean, my spiritual team, they guide me, so I'm never alone. Whenever I'm feeling down or something like that, I'm quickly meditate, go outside. You're going to get through this. You can find you a new support system. If you, see, my family, my mom, I don't have a large family. It's just me, my two sisters, my mom, and that's it. Because my mom didn't know her mom. She felt abandoned and rejected and not wanted. But that's still not an excuse. And then she really, I had the nicest shape, basically. So it was like I threw sense jealousy and insecurities that was within her own self, and that she basically saw me, and I was just probably every spitting image of her, and she just didn't like it. And it was hard. Like I say, at 9 years old, I saw my sister get shot. Just going through all these years of being labeled, I'm bad and I'm rebellious and I'm disobedient and I'm this and I'm that, but never tried to get down to the root of why I was so angry, why I was running away from home, 14, 15 years old, in a relationship with a 30-something-year-old man, all because when I was 14 years old, one of her friends molested me, and she didn't believe me, and that hurt. So, yeah, I mean, to deal with, imagine being molested at 14 and being told, well, you so hot in the pants, it's because it's your fault. Wow. And then they still bring the person around, and the person, she had did a smear campaign. She's been doing smear campaigns all my life. So to get people, and see in his head, he was like, oh, she's a troubled kid anyway. So I can exploit her. I can take advantage of her. And he did just that, and he succeeded in it. But I got the last say so, because I don't associate with none of them. You know what I'm saying? And I feel great. Sometimes when holidays roll around, but I got my own family and we happy. So that's all that matters. So I would suggest, if you've been through this, a lot of the time the scapegoats, this is what happens. They end up getting pregnant at an early age, and which I did. I got pregnant when I was 17, and they start using substance abuse. Yeah. And I was smoking weed and stuff like that, trying to escape reality. But you can't escape reality. I was a big escapism person, trying to escape reality, because the feelings, just feeling unjustified karma ain't done nothing but people making you feel guilty your whole life and shaming you your whole life. Then, and I just knew something wasn't right as a kid, because we didn't have hot water. We used to have to boil our water on the stove. And I'm like, what kind of parent would want to keep kids in a condition like that? Hot water, it's just no excuse. Because now, she has this nice house, but we didn't have it. So, and that's like narcissists. They all for themselves, But at the same time, I'm doing a lot of extensive research on this, because I'm trying to put the connection between And I'm not going to speak on it because, you know, people like to steal your ideas and run away with it. And I really feel like this is some spirit has put in me to do this research. And when I finish this research, I'm going to come and present it. And it's going to be mind blowing. Yeah. So anyways, it's hope for you. You know, my story is an ugly one. But guess what? It didn't. At some point, you got to stop believing all the fucking lies that they've told you, that they've tried to make you believe, because you're not a bad person. You are deserving of fucking love, unconditional fucking love. You're deserving of happiness. You're deserving of these things. Don't ever think you aren't. Okay? And having a narcissistic parent can lead you to being codependent or narcissist yourself. And then you begin to attract nothing but those type situations because that's what you were familiar with. And you begin to accept it because that's when you accept what you are familiar with. And you begin to normalize it because you normalize. If you've had a narcissistic parent, you as a child, that's what you begin to do to cope. You begin to normalize the pain, accept it. And that's why when I say people stay in these long relationships and for a long time in abusive relationships and they don't leave because they don't value themselves and they don't have no self-worth and stuff like that, that's the reason. A lot of it is the reason why, you know, and it's not cool to take advantage of a person and exploit them just because they're sensitive, just because they care a lot, just because they're empathetic, just because you have more power over them. Like, that's not cool. And you will reap your karma for that. Like, people got to understand whatever you dish out here, you're going to have to be able to take. And I don't care how people say, you ain't got it. You can skip karma. You can skip. It's no skipping. It's what you do to people. If you do bad, that bad's going to come back to you tenfold at some point. And I don't believe in people. People have their own opinions and I respect it. But at the end of the day, I still, have to spread as much good karma as I possibly can because that's just me, you know. Also, I would just say, like, as being a scapegoat, just use a lot of your good qualities. You have a lot of good qualities about yourself. And that's a lot of the, qualities that narcissistic people lack that they wish that they had. You have the ability to love, to heal, okay? And I also noticed a lot of scapegoats have a lot of talent. Like, they have a lot of natural talent. And they tend to break generational curses. And I'm breaking this generational curse that was placed upon us. Like, I'm bringing awareness to this shit. A lot of us don't understand why our kids grow up. They get in gangs. They always run away from home. They always challenging authority because a lot of these kids have grown up in abusive households. And that affects a child heavily when they grow up into their adulthood. You know, you probably have a lot of unstable relationships, a lot of rocky relationships that just begin good and then, deteriorate over time. Yeah, that's just that comes from that. But you can change that because you got to reprogram the way and the habits and, get rid of everything that you became familiar with and learn, new ways of coping with things, new ways of expressing your emotions and things of that nature. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to work. Just heal yourself. Let go of that resentment that you have toward them and then, if they don't want to reconcile, it's going to take going no contact. Because if you stay going contact and they don't want to change, it's not healthy being around a narcissistic person. if they're not gonna accept it and try to change it. Or if they have, you got to put some boundaries. If you don't want to go no contact, at least put boundaries and stuff. At least lay the boundary foundation so they know how far to go for you, so they can respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not encouraging anybody to make matters worse. I just want to make things better and bring awareness to this, because no child should have to go through this. Like I said, we wonder why these kids get into so much violence. And a lot of the time, people label people that use drugs and say they got weak minds. Listen, as a former person that has abused substances, you can't tell me my mind is weak. You haven't been through what I've been through. A lot of us do that because that was a way that we had to cope with our past. It's, trying to escape those excessive negative thoughts that won't go away. See, people need to stop being so judgmental. If you haven't been through that, and you had a loving parent, a loving, affectionate, you grew up in a loving, affectionate household, you can't speak upon a person that go out here and get abused substance. Like, you can't speak on it. Then you got to stop judging those situations, because a lot of y'all out here claim to be Christians, but the Bible do say, for the measure that you judge others, your God will use that measure to judge you. And I quite frankly don't care who toes I step on. As you can see, I don't sugarcoat shit. I never have, and I never will. And I'm going to give it how I give it. If you get offended, evidently I'm speaking something, and it's something within you is getting bothered by. So maybe you need to self-reflect and look inside and try to change. Yeah, because I can only speak my truth and what I went through, and that can't be challenged. So yeah, and I'm gonna bring awareness to this. If we can spread generational curses, if we can just spread this shit through our genes, guess what? We can break this shit too. It can be broken. The first step is always awareness. Okay. Also too, like I say, yeah, don't say people are weak-minded because you don't know the reason why they went out here and abused substance. And a lot of this has to do with imbalanced chemicals inside of the brain. All of your chemicals could be functioning. So you would never touch a drug because you're not an impulsive person. See, the front of your cerebral area is good. But the other people that go out here and that's their way of coping, theirs is not, which is still not an excuse. Because if I'm sober, and I've been sober for over a year completely, yeah. So if I can do it and make a change, anybody else can. If I can sit up here, I own a business now. I have my own business. I ain't in the ghetto. I manifested my own nice, beautiful condo. So listen, take it from somebody that's been down, lost it all, and got right back up. I served as a police officer, a deputy sheriff. So you can't tell me I'm a weak-minded person just because I didn't ask to be molested. I didn't ask to be hated on by my own parent. I didn't ask for none of that. But I had to deal with that. That was the hand that I was dealt with, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't ask to jump around from job to job and be unstable all throughout my 20s. I didn't ask for none of that. I wasn't taught that. Only thing I was taught was to be strong. And listen, that's not a good way of teaching people. You got to take care of your mental health. The mental is all. Mental is everything. If you can't manifest anything, if your brain is not functioning properly and you're not doing and making healthy and wise decisions, you're not gonna, come on now. It's like defeating the purpose. It's like self-destruction. So we gotta try to fix these issues. And me, like, I'm the type of person, I see I just look at the bigger picture, you know. The bigger picture is always more important. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just weird because, like, they never wondered why I was running away from home. They never wondered why I was hot in the pants. They never wondered none of that, you know. And I just, when I think about how I was just made out to be the bad one, and how they did me and how they was aware of it, how she was aware of what she was doing, that's the sickening part, you know. And then to use religion, a lot of narcissists use religion as a cover-up. Like a lot of them, they be in the church or whatever religious they practice, they be in that shit heavy. And that's the cover-up because they're worried about their image. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyways, I just want you guys to know that there's hope coming from a person that's been abused, molested, shot. I was shot when I was 20 years old. I recovered from that. You know what I'm saying? Most of all of my past relationships before I got into spirituality, all of my past relationships were filled with nothing but domestic violence, toxic shit, which now I don't have toxic relationships. I do have a lot of healthy relationships and connections, and because I have control over that. Because when I began to love myself, I began to put myself priority, and I put myself first. And all those codependent issues that I used to have that was restricting my growth, that was restricting my happiness, I had to let that go. The need to control the outcome. I can't control the outcome of things. That's just, you know, but you can. I take that back. I can control the outcome of things, but I can't control the outcome, or I can't control what other people do and how they feel. But I can do that too. But I'm just saying, y'all understand what I'm saying. You know, the need to always be in control of things. I just sit back and I look at the bigger picture and I transmute. And if something didn't work out, it's because it didn't supposed to work out. And I accept it and move on. I know how to deal with rejection, abandon. I no longer have fear of people abandoning me. And a lot of excessive negative thinking, my meditation has taken away. So there's hope. Hang on, hang in there. Reach out to me if you guys need any type of help, assistance, or guidance. I'm here for you. And I love you all. And I thank you and I appreciate for everybody that's been listening to my story. This is what I came here to do, and I'm going to continue to walk in that. And if you have a calling, walk in that calling. Don't let nobody, don't be ashamed. Tell your story. Your story can inspire other people. Don't be ashamed of you think I'm ashamed of my story? Hell no. My story gets deeper than that. When I actually put together my story time, which I'm going to do tomorrow, it gets deep. I have to say these things. I really want to help the people, younger people, older. It don't matter your age. I just want to help broken people. I've been there before, and I want to let you know I've been broken into a million pieces, but I put myself together bit by bit by bit. You don't always have to be poor. You don't always have to be suffer from mental abuse. You don't always, listen, it's what you want to change. You have to want to transition, transform, and change. Okay? Now, I will talk to you all later. Like I say, this right here, this crystal right here, amethyst, will always be my baby. This will always be my baby.